Welcome back to the Value Creation Playbook. In episode 1, we asked a fundamental question: what is value creation? Today, we move to something even more practical. Where do you look for value? Because let's face it, knowing what value is only half the battle. The real question for operators, consultants, and the investors is, where's the value hiding in the business? And how do you unlock it before competitors or crises force us to? Let's decode that with frameworks, real world examples, and smart, sharp insights from the field. Here's the first trap I see in leaders. Leaders often look for value in the most visible areas, but it sometimes hides beyond the obvious. They look into headcount, travels, budgets, dashboards. But the real value often hides in places you are not measuring enough. Pricing leakages, working capital inefficiencies, poor SQ level profitability, undiagnosed customer churn, supply chain slack, underutilized tech licenses. For example, when Unilever India reviewed its B2B order process, it uncovered a massive manual reconciliation step costing weeks in cash collection and application. Fixing this up freed up 300 crores in working capital that wasn't in the budget slides, but it was hiding in plain sight. The point? Stop solving the loudest problem. Start diagnosing the silent ones. And this brings me to the three lens model. To systematically value, I use what I call the three lens model. First and foremost, the P&L lens. Where are the margins eroding? You ask yourself. What costs are isn't variable anymore? Secondly, the balance sheet lens. What's locked in inventory, payables, receivable? Third is the flow clarity. What do frontline employees and systems say is broken? Here's how this works in action. A global pharma client of mine had a decent EBITDA, but high days sales outstanding. So that's DSO. P&L was fine, balance sheet shows inefficiency, and the flow. Sales teams were offering extended credit just to meet quarterly targets. That was a fixable value leak. When you cross check across three lenses, you stop chasing symptoms and you start solving systems. That's what you want to do at the end of the day. Now, this brings me to the functional value scan, a very important attribute task that you often miss. Value is not always at the top, it's often buried in the functions. And here's what I tell the clients to look into: procurement. Are we buying smart or buying stale? Sales. Are we pricing based on value or volume? Operations. Are we optimizing capacity or adding overtime? IT. Are tools enable productivity or just compliance? Finance. Are reports helping decisions or just explaining variances? Take Asian Paints. They don't just sell pens, they built a supply chain so agile it can replenish retailers 3 to 4 times a day. That's operational value creation, folks, that has turned them into a competitive advantage. Pro tip: if your KPIs don't detect your underperformance before the quarter ends, they're not just diagnostic, they're historical. So remember this when you start designing your KPIs. For those in private equity or M&A, spotting value isn't optional, it's your edge. And the elite investors approach it through a multiple angle: commercial due diligence to find the revenue quality, operational diligence to reveal the synergy and the cost unlocks or the potential of it, Tech diligence uncovers digitization potential, especially the low-hanging fruits. People diligence evaluates leadership strength and bench depth. For example, when Warburg Pincus invested in CleanMax Solar, it wasn't about just growth potential. They saw under-leveraged tech, lack of price segmentation, and a huge opportunity to centralize procurement. They didn't just invest in scale, they invested in latent value. As an operator, you must learn to think like an investor, tough but doable. Ask not just how it works, but what's not working and why. That's where the playbook begins. And often, the red flags can indicate to you where the value lies. Start with the red flags. Some of the best value creation starts what I call with the operational contradiction. High revenue but low cash flow. High traffic but flat conversion. High technology spend but no productivity left. Engaged teams but high attrition. These aren't just problems, they're clues for you folks. Value is often hiding behind them. If you are curious enough to dig, think of it as this way. The best transformations don't start with the answers. They start with better questions. So let's do a recap. To recap, where do you look for values? Beyond the obvious, where processes are ignored. Across the three lenses, the P&L, balance sheet, and the flow reality. You should scan deep inside the functions like procurement, pricing, and planning. You have to use investor grade diligence lenses. And yes, in the contradictions. In the value creation playbook, I help operators like you and investors who are also looking at this presentation, not just execute strategy, but spot opportunity where others see complexity. In the next episode, in episode 3, we'll go one level deeper. How to design value creation plans that actually work. I will show you why most transformation plans fail by Q2 and how to build roadmaps that survive investor scrutiny and operational chaos. If this helped sharpen your lens, hit subscribe, drop in a comment. Let me know what's one place in your org where value might be hiding. And share this with a colleague, client, or a founder. Because the first step in the transformation isn't just the strategy deck, it's a better diagnose. Until then, don't just execute, uncover, unlock, and lead. Thank you for watching and thank you for being a part of this journey.